The 7-step formula to build business credit. Look, if you're interested in building business credit for your EIN that's not linked to you personally, separating personal liability, and just building an asset through business credit that can allow your business to fund itself, then you need the exact formula to succeed. And this formula is broken down to 7 steps, and I'm about to decode every step for you right now so you have a clear path to the fastest way to build your business credit. By the end of this training, you're gonna know exactly what to do in order to be able to shave years off the business credit building process and condense it to only months. I mean, this is the way you can get tens, even hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in corporate credit for your business following these 7 steps. Look, we've got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. So the very first step in building business credit is to set up your business where you're credible. Now, lenders refer to this as fundability, and fundability is like the secret formula that credit issuers and lenders look at to determine that you're kind of worthy of being issued credit or being issued loans or credit lines. So what we want to do is we want to paint the picture that we are a very credible business. And we do this by improving what's called the Fundability Foundation. Now, the Fundability Foundation is just like the basics of your business, right? So we want to make sure we have an entity set up and an EIN number. We want to go ahead and make sure that we have a business address and a business phone number that's separate from us individually. We want to have a website that reflects what we do, any business licenses we can get, a business bank account. All the basics of setting up a stable foundation for the business is what we want to build, and we want to make sure that every aspect of that makes us look credible, that we're not using a mobile phone as our business phone or a home address as our business address, for example. The more credible we can make our business look, the better our chances of getting approved quickly for business credit. So we've got to make sure in step 1 we build that fundable foundation, which sets us up perfectly for step 2, which is getting set up with the business credit reporting agencies. And how you do that is you got to first get started by getting a DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet. And this is 100% free. You can go to creditsuite.com/DUNS to be able to get it easily and quickly. It takes about 10 minutes to go through the process. And typically Dun & Bradstreet will issue that to you in about 3 days to 3 weeks time. So your DUNS number is the first step and a crucial step of getting set up with Dun & Bradstreet, because in order for Dun & Bradstreet to be able to issue a credit report for you, you've got to meet 2 criteria. First, you've got to have that DUNS number. And second, you've got to have 3 accounts reporting on your Dun & Bradstreet credit profile. So if you have your DUNS number, next we start building business credit in future steps that will automatically get your profile activated with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, Experian and Equifax are much easier. In the following steps, you're going to see that just by building business credit, you're automatically going to set up your profiles with Equifax and Experian, including getting what's called the BIN number or business identification number with Experian. So the biggest thing to do in step 2 is to move forward, get your DUNS number, get set up with Dun & Bradstreet. That's also going to be crucial when we start building business credit, because a lot of initial credit issuers are going to ask for that DUNS number. So now that we've done that, now it's time to move on to step 3. And step 3 is to get set up with initial business credit reporting accounts. Look, there's 2 ways to do this. The first requires good credit, the second doesn't. So the first is a program called Credit Line Hybrid. Now, if you have good personal credit or a guarantor around you has like a 700 plus FICO score, then you may qualify for a program called Credit Line Hybrid, and it's amazing. It's amazing because you can get 0% interest credit lines, no doc. You can get like 3 to 5 credit lines, sometimes more, and a lot of these credit lines report to the business credit reporting agencies. So not only can you get $50, $100, even $150,000 in credit lines to grow your business and get it even as a newer business, but a lot of these credit lines help you build business credit by putting high limit revolving accounts on your business credit reports. So if you have good credit or a guarantor around you does, it's a great way to jumpstart business credit building. Now, the other way to build initial credit is through what's called starter vendors. Now, with starter vendors, you're actually able to tap into a really cool source to build business credit that doesn't require a personal guarantee or credit check. So these starter vendors are places like Granger or Uline, and what's unique about them is 2 things. First of all, they'll give you credit when you have none. That's kind of the conundrum when you build business credit, is that you can't get credit unless you have credit. So how do you get credit if you need credit to get it? It's confusing, right? Well, that's what starter vendors are for. Starter vendors like Uline and Granger will give you credit when you have none. The other nice thing that makes them unique is they report to the business credit reporting agencies. So these vendors do these these two things. They will give you credit when you have none. They report the credit they give you to the business credit reporting agencies. And when you have about 3 to 5 of these accounts reported, then you can move on to the next step in building business credit. Now, this step is so important because whether you use credit line hybrid or starter vendors, what happens is you build an initial credit profile and score. It only takes one account with Equifax and Experian to establish a credit score. It takes 3 with Dun & Bradstreet. So once we get that, now we have credit profiles and credit scores with all 3 major reporting agencies. Now we have the foundation we need to build off of and start getting more and more credit as we get into step 4, 5, 6, and 7. And speaking of step 4, this is when we start getting the good stuff. This is when we start getting real usable credit. So what typically happens here is we start with retail credit. So retail credit vendors are like stores that offer you credit lines. So let's give you an example. Apple, Dell, HP, Office Depot, Home Depot, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco, even Nordstrom and Macy's offer corporate credit cards you can get, typically without a personal guarantee and oftentimes without a personal credit check to keep your personal finances safe. And they will issue you this credit just because you established an initial business credit profile and score. So since we already have done the initial steps and now we have credit profiles and scores with Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian, now most retailers will start to give us credit. Now the more credit we get, the more credit we actually have access to. So as we get 5 accounts, 10 accounts, 12, 14 accounts, more tiers of credit become available. And that brings me to the next step. And the next step is to add more credit lines to our business credit reports. So as we start to get more retail credit, more accounts show up on our business credit profiles. We call these trade lines or payment experiences. The more trade lines and payment experiences we have, the more credit tiers become available, as I mentioned. So what happens now is we continue to get more and more credit. We start to go from retail credit to fleet credit. We get fuel cards for repair, maintenance, and fuel of vehicles. Now we start to get auto financing. We start to get financing for computer leases at almost every company that sells computers, from HP, Dell, Apple, and more. We also move our way up even to getting auto financing at places like Toyota, places like Ally Bank, Ford, GM. We can even get to a point where we're getting Visa card, MasterCard, or what we call universal credit. All of this can be obtained under the business name with the business funding itself. So that's really the next step as we continue to get approved for more and more credit lines as we go. And that brings me to step 6. Maybe this should have been step 4. I don't know, you tell me. But we've got to monitor our business credit reports as we go. Look, business credit building is all about moving from a tier to tier of credit that's available from us. And in order to do that, we have to know how many accounts on our business credit reports. We cannot do this if we don't have the ability to monitor our business credit. So make sure you go to creditsuite.com/monitoring for absolutely the most affordable credit monitoring that exists today. I mean, this will save you hundreds of dollars from what the business credit reporting agencies will actually charge you. And you get access to your major business credit reports so you can see these accounts, these payment experiences reporting on your credit profile and know it's time to move to the next step or the next tier of business credit. And that next step is the grand finale. It's step 7. And in step 7, we already have 14 accounts on our business credit reports. This is the end. It's the end of the process. And if you followed these steps, now we've done this in about 4 to 6 months' time. So now we can get everything we need revolving credit-wise, basically, with our business funding itself. This means you should never need to get a personal credit card anymore to be able to fund your business. It means you oftentimes won't be required to provide guarantees or credit checks because the business credit will carry you through and get approved. It also means that you have a significantly better ability to get loans like SBA loans or long-term loans where you can have a lot of money, hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, and long-term financing to keep your payments low. So congratulations, if you made it this far, you made it to the end. Now, if you need a shortcut on this process, make sure you check out the link to the description in this training. I'm gonna give you 2 very valuable assets. The first is our business credit building guide that maps out more in depth these steps. It talks more about Fundability Foundation. It talks more about starter vendors you can use to build business credit, and it gives you more details of every step of the process. You also wanna make sure that you get registered for a finance assessment. It's 100% free. Fundability. We'll go through your business credit reports and scores with you. We'll give you tips and tactics to improve your business credit. We'll tell you what's wrong with your fundability and what to fix. Everything you need to expedite your results in building business credit will do for you on this finance assessment. You access both of those links in the description of this training. And if you got value from this training, make sure you like and subscribe and keep your eye out for our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.